So we'll discuss about some Newton's laws of motion. Okay, Newton's laws of motion. So as you know, Newton has told three laws. The first law, here we are discussing only the concept, not the statement. Suppose there is a body which is in rest. That means the body is stationary, it is not moving. If the body starts moving, it means there must be a force acting on the body. Okay. Another interpretation of the law is, this is interpretation A. The body is in rest, the body has to move from its position, means some force is acting on the body. Another case, suppose the body is moving, alright. Now this moving body is come to rest, has been done something that it is coming to rest now. That means some force must be acting upon it or acted upon it, because of which it is coming to rest. So an object in rest gets into motion because of force. An object in moving condition comes to rest because of force. This is the meaning of Newton's first law. Second law. Okay, now you have defined what is first law. You said that there is a force. Okay, now how to calculate the force? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, so force is a vector, we have discussed all that. It has a direction and the magnitude can be obtained by this formula, F is equal to ma. So that means there is an object, it has got some mass, let us say 10 kg. Okay, you applied a force, so this object started moving. That means the object accelerated from its position. So take that acceleration and multiply with the mass of that body, you get the force on the body, on that particular body. Okay, here one point is that two bodies are there, let us say, of masses m1 and m2. You cannot take the acceleration on m2 and multiply with m1 to get the force on m1. Corresponding body you have to take. So you need to always ask yourself on which body you are calculating the acceleration. Okay, so this is one very important point. If at all at any point of time you are asked to find out the acceleration, identify the force on the body divided by its corresponding mass, you get the acceleration. Here there are two bodies, let us say. Identify the force F1 which is acting on body 1, divided by its mass, you get the acceleration. But basically Newton's second law states that how to calculate the force. Now here this F is F net, that is net force acting on the body. So to define it, let us say there is a block, some 10 Newton force is acting here and 8 Newton force is acting here. So what is the net force acting? 10 left to right, 8 right to left. That means 2 Newton left to right is acting. Okay, that means if you take in the fx direction, it is 10 minus 8, 2 Newton. So this force is the net force. If you divide this force by the mass, you get the acceleration of the block. Okay, so this is what is second law. Third law, very famous law, action and reaction are equal and opposite to each other and they act on different bodies. Okay, that means there is a table, you put a block on top of the table. This block has a weight which is, let us say, it has got a mass of 10 kg, so 100 Newton force is acting downward direction. Now between the table and the block and between the block and the table there will be a reaction developed. It will be equal and opposite, and it will be in this case 100 Newton. Now here action is from block to table and reaction will be table to block, and they will be equal and opposite. So they will be acting on two different bodies. So suppose you take a wall. Now mind you, this reaction will be always be perpendicular to the surface in which it is in contact. If it is in contact, then only we talk about reactions. If it is not in contact, there is no question of reaction. Okay, that's what. Now suppose there is a block which is connected to a wall. This is a wall and this is a block. So the block weight will be acting downward, but the reaction will be acting in this direction. Okay, so this force, this weight will be always acting vertically downwards. Even if you take an inclined, this is called an inclined plane, making some angle theta with the horizontal axis. So here also the weight will be acting downward, always vertically downward. Remember this. Why it is vertically downward means, now this is our earth. Let us say I take a building, because compared with the earth, a building is a very small thing. So the situation is like this. The weight of the earth, the weight of the building will be acting towards the gravity. What is weight? It is you are multiplying mass with the acceleration due to gravity, that is acting towards the center of the earth. Okay, so it is acting downward because the dimension of the building when compared with the perimeter of the earth, it is negligible. You can say that then there is a building here also. Then why this weight is not acting like this, why it is like this? So we just rotate it. This building, you imagine it is here. Okay, it is acting always vertically downward. Even if you take an inclined plane, okay, this inclined plane, it is like this earth, huge earth, and is a very, very small thing. Its weight will be acting towards the center of gravity. So weight always will be acting in the downward direction. Remember this point. So these are the three laws. Now we will discuss about, let us say we will try to identify, we will resolve the vectors. Let us say an inclined plane is given like this. This block has some mass, so its weight will be mg. If let us say this angle is theta, this is an inclined plane. This is OX is an inclined plane making some angle. OA is the horizontal plane. On this plane there is a block which is kept. So its mass, its weight will be acting downward like this. So here there will be a reaction which will be perpendicular to the surface. The reaction here won't be like this, it will be like this. This is normal reaction, let us say. So if you want to resolve the vectors here, we are going to resolve parallel and perpendicular to the plane. So I am calling this as x-axis and this as y-axis. X is parallel to the plane, okay, and perpendicular to plane is the y-axis. So we want to resolve the forces in the direction and perpendicular to the plane. So how do we do it? So this angle, this also will be theta, okay. So this is like this. You have W and this component will be W cos theta and this component will be W sin theta, okay. Now why this angle is theta means, you can see it is like this. Right, this is theta, this is 90, this is 90 minus theta, this whole again is 90. So this angle, let us say x will be 90 minus theta, it is theta. Always remember, if this angle is theta, then this is theta. Okay, we have resolved our weight components. Now what about n? N already is in the y direction. It has no component along x. If a force is in y direction, it has no x component. Okay, let us say here one more force is given like this, some force F, so making some angle alpha. So F will have F cos alpha, and in the y direction F sin alpha. This is how we resolve the forces. So here we have resolved the forces in the along the plane and perpendicular to the plane. So let us take another example, the same problem. We will take a block like this. This is making angle theta. Now we will resolve in this direction. X is like this, Y is like this. So here the weight is acting downward, and you have a normal acting like this. Alright. So here you need to identify this angle. So then you can resolve n in the x and the y direction, because here x and y are in this direction. No need to resolve w, because w already is in the y direction. It won't have a x component. So it is the situation is like this. You can shift this parallel line here. It is like this. If this is theta, then this is theta, right? And this angle we have to find out. See, this whole angle is 90. We have just discussed this whole angle is 90. If this is theta, this will be 90 minus theta. So if you draw a perpendicular here, this will be theta. That means if you extend this line, this angle will be theta. So now you see like this. This is n. So this is n cos theta, and this is n sin theta. Why I am rotating and showing means, because you know how to resolve this, right? Once you get used to it, no need to do all this. Just to make you understand, this is n, this is theta, this will be n cos theta, this will be n sin theta. Okay, so this is how we can resolve the forces in the chosen axis. So here our chosen axis is like this, here our chosen axis is like this. Depending upon the problem, we will decide what is the x and y coordinates, what is x and y axis, and accordingly we will calculate the components. Okay. So next, one more concept, moment of a force. See, moment of a force m is defined as force multiplied by perpendicular distance. Suppose there is a bar. Okay, there is a bar. You are applying a force over here, and the bar length is L. So what this bar will try to do, it will try to rotate the bar, right? You can see it. It is like this. I apply a force. It is rotating the pen, right? It is rotating the pen. So this F multiplied by this L, let us call this point O. So moment about O is force multiplied by length. Whenever this rotation of an object comes into picture, you use a term called torque. It is denoted by tau. So torque, basically, because of torque only an object will rotate in a circle. Okay, so remember this term. Torque also is basically force multiplied by the distance. If an object is rotating in a circle, it is basically because of a torque. If no torque, the object cannot rotate in a circle. Okay, so moment of a force means, suppose there is a thin lamina is there. What is thin lamina? It's like a plate with negligible thickness, like this sheet of paper. This paper has a x and a y kind of a thing. It's a plane, and its thickness is negligible. So this type of a thing is called lamina, thin lamina. Obviously, if you want to, you fix this paper in on an axis, and you can rotate the lamina, right? So let us say its axis, we will see in depth what are these terms, axis and all that later, but let us say it is rotating about some axis. Okay, the paper is rotating about this axis like this, and you have a force F1 acting like this and a force F2 acting like this. This is the point O, and here the distance is R2. Which distance? Perpendicular distance, R1. So we will write moment about O, we will write moment about O because of force F1 is equal to F1 multiplied by corresponding perpendicular distance. Now you see here, this force is trying to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. You see your clock, the needle moves in a clockwise direction like this. So this direction is called clockwise. If you ever see this type of rotation, if the rotation is like this, it is clockwise, short form CW. This is anti-clockwise, ACW, anti-clockwise. Okay, now this, about this point, this force is trying to rotate in a direction like this, so it is anti-clockwise. If you calculate the moment about O because of this force, it will be F2 into R2. Okay, because of this force, so it is trying to rotate in a clockwise direction. We take, because there is a clockwise rotation here, anti-clockwise rotation here, and we need to identify the directions now. So we will call anti-clockwise positive and clockwise as negative. That means this is a positive moment, this is a negative moment. However, if you take this as negative and this as positive also, no issue will come. You have to define, while doing a problem you have to define. Normally, like I take anti-clockwise, we take positive, and clockwise rotation we take as negative. So make a note of these points. Even moment is a vector quantity. Force is a vector quantity, moment also is a vector quantity. Now here a doubt will come. Suppose there is a point, okay, and the force is like this. So you are trying to find out what is the moment of force about this point. Then we can take any distance, right? We can put any distance. You will get infinite distances. But the definition is such that you put only the least distance. There will be only one least distance, and that will be the perpendicular distance. Otherwise it will create a confusion. You can put this distance, this will be D1, this will be D2, this will be D3, like so on and so forth. So how the moment is defined? Moment is defined force multiplied by the least distance between the point and the force. So there is only one distance, which is the perpendicular distance. Okay, we'll see some more points in the next video. Thank you.